off with Sydney. फिर आए थे first of hip hop, and we are absolutely more excited to be witnessing that tomorrow. Thank you so much. But actually, you have created history with that, so we are thankful for that. Now, you have started your Australian tour with Sydney.
Yep.
You came to Melbourne. It was a sold-out event by
Melbourne
none
was
other
mad.
than Sahiba Bedi. There she is. One of the best nights ever.
It was her fault there.
And we are loving the penalty of it, let's put it that way. So Gliteratti Night Events has absolutely made a specifically awesome Australian tour for you. Could you explain or share with us how has it been for you working with Gliteratti Night Events?
It's been great, Cara. Lovely to be here in Melbourne, my favourite city.
Yes.
And it's nice to be back with these people, my friends, Gliteratti. But yeah, the Australian tour is going really, really well. I'm really excited. I mean, naturally events, my Sunny there, Jessica, they brought me to Australia, and I'm traveling all around the country, and it's been amazing. I mean, it's not my first time.
Of course.
I've been here many times, but whenever I've been to Melbourne, it's always been amazing. I've always had a great response in Melbourne. So it's people here that I know, and yeah, the other night Melbourne was crazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you think what's going to be the vibe tomorrow, especially after the India-Pakistan match? They've planned a night out at Ground Therapy Level 3. We can't wait to see you there. What do you think the vibe is going to be like?
It's going to be the same. It's going to be insane. I mean, what more can you say? But yeah, it's going to be even more exciting because the cricket's on now. There's more people. There's a lot of people come from different towns and also from abroad. So there's a lot of people in town. There's a lot of Asian desis in town. So that's a good thing. I'm like, everywhere I'm going now, there's a lot of desis everywhere. I feel like I'm back in London.
Oh,
but
wow.
yeah, there's a lot of people in town that have come for the cricket, and of course, they come for the show, and it's brilliant. It's fun.
चुरा लिया है तुमने ऑस्ट्रेलिया का दिल for the last one.
Now,
100%.
you see, they're not worried. It's already sold out. But yeah, it's all good. I mean, like, tell me.
Yeah, so sold out shows के साथ sold out career भी रहा है. Let's put it that way, right? So I won't put in the year, but let's talk about when it happened to Hey Jamalo. I mean, what was your inspiration like? Mix कर दो गाने या कहीं सुना दो, or what was, because what I have heard, you admired Bob Marley, Bee Gees, Michael Jackson,
Yes.
and now coming to Hey Jamalo. Come on, you got to share with us.
Okay, well, growing up in the UK, I was completely anti-Asian, anti-desi, anti-Indian, anti-Bollywood because I grew up in it was a multicultural area of Birmingham in the UK, and all of my friends were black, and I didn't have any Indian friends, and the only music I listened to was mainly predominantly disco, Bob Marley, Bee Gees, of course Michael Jackson, who I went on to tour with later on in my life. But these are the people that really influenced me. I didn't get any influence from India. How could I? Because there was no one that was doing anything that I was doing. I can only look to somebody who does what I do, and there was nobody. I couldn't even say I want to be a DJ because the word didn't even exist.
True.
So for me, it was a whole new concept, new thing, But yeah, as I grew up without getting to, I was constantly making music. I was making music in the 70s. So I was experimenting with cassettes, Dheepa Awtani, and I was doing joints on cassettes, making songs longer, see if I could loop something. And I just continued from there, and I started from early days. I started buying records in the 70s. And in 1977, when Saturday Night Fever came out, the movie, that's what changed my life. And that film, I started DJing, I started playing in the Gora clubs, and yeah, it was an amazing experience for me. And as years went on, then people started telling me, my family said, कुछ अपने देसी गाने भी ना mix करके देख मैं नहीं देसी गाने like करने and I don't like them. My mom and dad is Mohammed Rafi, Lata Mangeshkar, and they were traditional Punjabi, listening. So for me, it took me a long way to come around to where I am today in the world, teaching people about our music. But yeah, it was an easy struggle. It was a big struggle for me because many pagundi sigi, and I used to go to school. My turban used to get knocked off. I used to get a lot of problems in my school, and my mom and dad wanted me to go to a good school where my sister went, and I was the only Indian in the school, as in Sardar, and I wanted to go to another school where all the rough kids went, and उत्थे ज़्यादा मैं कहता था मैं जाना उत्थे, and my parents said नहीं उत्थे education चंगा नहीं हैगा, and my sister, she's more brainy than me, because I failed my exams, and I was more interested in music, fashion, And obviously, there's the scene I look at, which is the hip hop scene coming from America and the reggae scene. Bob Marley was always a big hero for me. One of my first records I ever bought was Bob Marley, and I still have 20,000 records plus in my house.
Amazing.
So that was my journey coming through. Hence my bass lines, my beats. I make music like Gores and Kales, but I add the desi touch to it.
Like-
I didn't do it the watered down way. Hence my music has a very hard Western background, and that's how I connected with a lot of desis around the world. And I didn't know I was doing that at the time. That's what I was doing.
And now it's a lifestyle from tapes to the digital touch.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
ऐसी बहुत टेपा बेची हैं. We sold a lot of tapes.
But while talking about tapes, right, and now doing everything digital, let's talk about Magic Touch.
1991.
Yeah, oh well, you named the decade
I
now.
know all the years of all of my albums.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 1991. Yeah.
And I think that's where you said, I want to approach Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan ji, and if I get to go ahead, that's when I think I've established myself. You know, come on, let's recap that.
You've been doing your homework,
Of
yeah?
course, I mean,
Yeah, Google, eh?
you love your job. The way you love your job, I love mine. So it's inspiring. So yeah.
Right, yeah. Well, I mean, it wasn't my idea. It was the company's idea. They said that because I was signed to the same record label, Oriental Star Agencies, and there was 3 artists, me, Malkeet Singh, and Khan Saab. The company says to me, would you like to work with Nusrat Ali Khan? Who's he? He's a Qawwali singer from Pakistan, and ਉਹਦੀ ਟੇਪਾਂ ਵਿਕਦੀਆਂ ਪਾਕਿਸਤਾਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ. And he's gonna be a complete different kind of a person for you to work with. And it was very early in my career, because before that I'd done Good Night Mata, I did Bam Bam, my first album.
Yes.
My first ever release was Hey Jamala, Tutak with
Yes.
Malkeet Singh, yeah? So can you imagine, immediately after that I got the chance to work with Khan Saab, and I was like, I don't even think I was ready. But anyway, to cut a long story short, yes, we flew Nusrat into the country, flew him into the studio, and I did not know so much about him. I knew he was making Qawwali tapes, and he hadn't blown up around the world yet. People weren't blasting him in catwalks, fashion shows, TV, and no one was playing him in your car, sound systems. So when we brought him in, and I sat down, we're going to need some slow, medium, fast songs. And also, sanu harmonium, tabla, dholak nahi chahiye. There's going to be no hand claps.
Yes.
Manu khali vocal chahiye. And that was a bit of a struggle at the time, because Nusrat sings with a live band, and I wanted to record him to a click track with a metronome, and we did not want any spillage from the harmoniums and stuff. Or na school de tape recording karte singe. So it was difficult to give him a click and sing to this, and I was choosing tempos. Jule Jule Lal, Mera Piya Karaya, Kinna Sona Tan Rab Ne Banaya, Ali Da Malang, all these things. And then I would tell him how to sing it to what tempo, because Manu Pata Saga my music, the music was done afterwards, okay? I didn't do the music at the time. I just recorded his vocal, like I've done with all of my songs.
Wow.
Most of the songs I have done to this day, music mein baaj karta hunda. Like if you was a singer now, I don't have any music for you, but I can tell you how to sing the song. मैं दस दूंगा tempo थोड़ा किधर नु करना and then scale करी करनी है. Then I would take the voice and then I would do the music. A little what A. Rahman does, similar thing. So I work with the vocal. So we recorded the vocals, and the most amazing thing is, this is the only singer I've ever worked with in my life that sang every song in one take. सारे गाने एक take ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਗਾ ਦਿੱਤੇ. And I was like, whoa, this is amazing. And at the time, I didn't know what alaps and sargams were. And I was saying, Nusrat, can you do the sargams, alaps? And I wanted loads of these. So he did a special alap and sargam at the end of the song, so I can cut it and paste it in the songs. So when I was doing all of my layout of the songs, when I made the songs, I was then bringing in the alaps and sargams where I need them. Same as all of my songs. Because when you're recording at the time, you don't know how you're going to lay it.
Of course.
And tempo.
Yes.
Bible my tempo change kar danda. So we time stretch the vocal to make it sound a little bit slower and faster. And that's how I did the songs. And it was my idea to call it Magic Touch. Because together, me and you will make a
To
magic.
feel the drum beats and the tempo and the sargams. So, and Magic Touch ke baad bola to Magic Mike, you were called in New York to do the show. And you were like pretty much mesmerized by that feeling. You're
I was
going
like,
international.
I got a phone call to do a show, And I was like, will you pay for my ticket if I come? The guy goes, yeah. My belly was jarring. No, it was like a new thing for me.
Yeah.
Because I was playing in my town, and I've never done a show overseas. So Magic Mike, one of the biggest DJs in America, he was already doing his stuff. He was doing a lot of Gujarati stuff. He's from New York. And he called me after Wham Bam in 91, I think 92.
Yeah.
And he says, dude, we want to do one of your gigs. And I'm like, okay. And it's in New York. I'm like, oh, okay. I only do shows in London.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, we want to bring you to New York and do a show. And I was like, okay, cool. And I discussed everything, and I was like, wow, okay, cool. I was like, would you send me a ticket if I come? And he goes, yes. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be there. I didn't even care about the fee or anything. And it was the first time for me to go abroad. And that was the first time I went. And then, yeah, we went to New York, played in one of the biggest nightclubs ever. And to this day, that's still one of the most prestigious shows that ever happened, because it's the same with a lot of my early day shows. I did in India. I did the first shows in places like Gungaroos, and when I went to India, people told me we don't play Indian music in nightclubs, and I said, well, I'm going to change that.
And you did revolutionize
yeah,
that.
because I went to Bombay, I went to 1900s, I went to Gungaroos was the one place I really went for a month, and I was watching the Indians there. They don't listen to Indian music in a nightclub. They said, we don't play film music. And I go, why? Because they said, no, because it doesn't have the same beat, it doesn't have the same sound.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I just watch the people, and then I learn. And then I did a few trials on my beats and my music, and I tried them. And then the crowd went off. And I was like, okay, theek hai. A drum beat, a bass line, then a vocal. And then I went back to India, and then I recorded all the other songs. Like, I'll get some vocalists, because we don't have many vocalists in England. The vocalists are in India. Most of my songs are recorded in India or Pakistan. So very few singers I have worked with from the UK. The scene has changed now. But when I grew up, you have to go to India to get the best singers. Bollywood, if you want Bollywood, obviously if you want Punjabi songs, you gotta go to Punjab. So that's why I went and got all of my singers. So most of my singers are from overseas. Very few people from the UK I've recorded with.
Yeah, and you've got your, I would say recording studio in Mumbai, Fresh Dope Industry, Fresh Dope Records. So congratulations on that.
Yeah,
You've come all the way, you're back to the base, but still traveling the world. So thank you so much. But you've done everything from tape cutting to doing everything now on the fingertips. Do you have any tips for the upcoming recording artists, producers, or DJs?
Well, I mean, I get this question all the time, and now the technology is so good that you can do so much now on the fly. You can just do it on the move, and we come from a different background. And for me now, with all these tools that are available now, I'm amazed, because I meet flight attendants who can sing. I meet chefs in the kitchen. I meet waiters. I meet so many people that tell me, oh, we can sing, and it's great, because now you can do collaborations from overseas. You can work together with all the technology on the internet and stuff. But I still think that where people need to spend a bit more time is like, spend more time. Manu 3 minute lage gana karne vaste. Choraliya took me 3 months, 12 weeks.
Wow.
Songs take me over 6 months to make one album. It takes 1 year. So it doesn't happen overnight. People want overnight fame. They want to get the song done immediately. They're worrying about the video. I'm like, last thing you should be thinking about is a video. You should think about this song and how does it stand up, and mastering and the sound quality, and these are all the things. And luckily for me, I have the ear. I'm a one-man band. I make the tea. I record the songs. I do the vocals. I do everything myself. I record it. I'm such a perfectionist, and but I'm glad that I had that struggle to put me where I am today. So when I see people singing and I hear people, I'm thinking like, is that the right scale? Is that the right song for you? Because not every singer can sing every song. So manu singer tolne pende hai. My songs are only good because I have good singers. And the singers I audition suit my music. It's not that you're a bad singer, it's my music doesn't go with your voice. So when someone sings for me, I'm like, my music doesn't work with you, or this song is not for you. So when I choose singers, like I want a husky song, then I know I'm a husky singer. If I want a uchi surwara singer, then I know you can't have a romantic guy. On a romantic guy suit karuge. This is when singers need to establish what style suits them, what scale suits them, what kind of vibe suits them, because everyone likes different types of songs. If you listen to all of my songs from day one, I've recorded with no-name singers. and I'm proud to do that because for me, I don't care about who your parents are, who your background is. You're the chief ministers, whoever. It doesn't bother me. How do you sound? I will sit this way. You stand behind me. If you stand behind me and sing, I would say, okay, good or bad, good or bad. Okay, that's a good singer.
Yeah.
And I think you listen to songs with your ears, not with your eyes.
Absolutely, that's well encapsulated, and you're very kind and humble to acknowledge that there. But you know, you've even done work on AV Baby album with Amitabh Bachchan, to touring with somebody who admired and you were inspired. Michael Jackson history tour.
Yes.
So, which has been share us your moments of your favorite tour, if any.
Well, I mean, how can I top Michael Jackson? I mean, that's for me the 50,000 people in Mumbai. My record was in the charts. I was the first Asian in history to get an Indian song in the charts with Dil Cheese. We were number 12. Spice Girls gave me my award. You know, we were on top of the pops. We did all the morning programs. Let me tell you something. It's very difficult to get an Indian song playlisted on the radio, on mainstream radio. Churalia was the first one.
Yes.
And for us, that was a major stepping stone. Then my record went to number 12 in the charts. And I was the 10th biggest selling act at Sony Music with all the mainstream singers, with all the mainstream bands. And then I got signed to Sony with my album Rising from the East. The reason why the album was called Rising from the East is because it's my story. I was born in India. I would like the sun rises from the east. So I called the album right. There's a lot of thought that goes behind my album titles. And if you read the inlays, which you don't get anymore now, there's a lot of things written inside of an album. Back in the days, tapes used to have a lot of things about how the song was made, who was the banjo player, who was the flute player. We used to write down all these things, musicians, background, blah, 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 and all these things. And then lyric writer, so it was a very great time. And I think it's just sad that the youngsters today don't have that now, because it's all like upload the song and that's it, done. And auto-tune, I don't like auto-tune. If you can't sing the song, I should get a better singer. Why should I bend your notes? You know, I don't like the auto-tunes. You don't hear auto-tune in my songs.
Yeah.
So I think people today like, mera voice tune kar de, main ja raha, bas main got a video de aunga. You know, I think it's not how music should be about. You know, you should be able to sit down and if you bought a song of a singer, the singer should be able to deliver that song, in my opinion anyway. So a lot of singers can't sing live. And I think that's when you realize that, well, what's going on here? Producers do a lot of work on a lot of vocalists to make them sound how you hear them. There's not a lot of acoustic unplugged singers. And the ones who can do that, hats off to them. They're the ones who are nice. Arijit is obviously one of my favorite singers. That man coughs in key. He sneezes in key. There's some people that naturally can just sound fantastic and they don't need these things, and they will never allow the engineers like me to tune their vocal with auto-tune. They're like, no, take karna. I tell the singers, you know, you can sing this better. You can sing this better, and you can sing this better. Some singers say, can you turn the lights down? If it gives you the vibe, we'll do that. Some people sit on the floor. A lot of my people that I've worked with, they have different vibes. They say, can you tell these people to leave? Meko gana gaani hunda. I've done songs where people have like, I've gone in studios in Punjab where I've got 20 people waiting to do an autograph. I'm like, can you guys please go, because singer mera nervous here. And I'm like, I'm doing a dubbing and there's people wanting, you know, and they get interrupted. So I've got to make you comfortable when I do a vocal, because you know, you only get one shot. And I've got to make sure your vocal is good, because I'm going to go back and do my magic to it. I'm very passionate, obviously, about my work. I think everyone, they know that, you know, I'm very passionate about what I do.
You know, talking about touring, and you've been here in Australia, you know, I must thank again to Sahiba Bedi. She's got through Gliteratti events, Gliteratti night events. She's got you here. So thank you once again. You know, is there anything that you would like to highlight, especially what's been planned for you tomorrow at Crown Therapy?
Firstly, I want to just obviously thank Sahiba, Gliteratti, obviously my boy Sunny, you know, all these guys have been responsible for what I've done. You know, Nudge Bally events, they brought me to Australia, and all the cities have been very important to me. It's a combination of all the cities that have been really, really good. I've had a really great tour, and all the cities we've been playing at, they've all done a fantastic job, and I'm like so touched with all the people that have come out. We've had sellout shows in pretty much all the cities now. It's been a great vibe, and it's nice to see youngsters and the slightly older people, because my target age is not a age, it's everyone. And I don't only want to make music for a certain audience. So that's why I do Bollywood and I do Punjabi. And that's why I've touched so many people. I've made so many songs. So many people have connected with my songs. It's great. Whether they're romantic songs, whether they're Sufi, whether they're Bhangra songs, whether they're the Bollywood remix. First of all, let me get one thing clear. They're not remixes, they're cover versions, okay guys? A remix is totally different than a cover version. Churalia is not a remix, okay? It's a cover. A remix is when you take the original vocal and then you readdress it with the new music. So if I took Asha Bhosle's voice and I put some music on it, that's a remix. If you sing Michael Jackson's song right now, that's not a remix, it's a cover version.
Okay.
So Bollywood Flashback and all these songs that have made me such a household name are cover versions. And that's the difference. But people always say remix. Aja Nachle, not a remix, brand new song. Dil Cheese, Rise from the East. I do a lot of original songs. I've done so many tracks in my career. I've done over 55 albums now. We work on new songs. We work on all types of songs. But if we all sat down now, decided we're going to do an old Lata Mangeshkar song, we are not remixing Lata Mangeshkar song. We are doing a cover version.
Wow.
So that's the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are loving the difference, I must say.
Yeah.
You've
Well, a lot of people in
revolution.
India keep saying king of remixing, king of remixing. I'm like, I'm very flattered. But yeah, I'm not the king of remixing. But I do a lot of brand new, I readdress the music, I have orchestras and I replay the parts and I always credit the people, like my Churalia is totally different than R.D. Burman's. When I recorded Churalia, R.D. Burman was standing outside my door, but unfortunately he passed away before the song came out. I would love to have heard what he thought, because when I was dubbing Churalia, when I did Bollywood Flashback in '94, I hired all these musicians, I had all these singers, and they all said, there's some guy here from London who's recording some old songs. Who does that? It's unheard of. And I knew what I was doing. What I was doing was I was doing some covers of old songs. And that's when I really, to this day, I wished I went outside and I met this guy, because I was doing my take at the time. And my guys were telling me, oh, R.D. Burman's outside and he's interested to know what you're going to do. And I was like, wow, what an amazing time. But I wish I actually met him. But when I released the album, if you look at the back of the album, I dedicated the whole album to R.D. Burman.
Wow.
Yeah.
3 से 4 साल या 4 decades?
Oh, yeah. कभी-कभी साथ दसना चाहिए ना. You got to be honest sometimes.
Yeah, no.
I've been DJing since 1976. I've been DJing since, in the 80s I was DJing in school. But when I tell people that, I'm flattered when they say, you can't be doing that. I'm so, I'm proud of my journey. If I hadn't gone through the struggle, I wouldn't be where I am right now, because I didn't get it on a plate. I took my turntables in pubs up the stairs for £80. I left my job. I had a successful job. I was a salesman. I'm good at talking. I used to sell fridges, TVs, videos at Radio Shack. And my mom and dad were like, "Tu changi tarah, kaam kar, and music nu chhad de." My mom and dad did not want me to go into music, because it's not, it wasn't going to be a positive thing, because I can't say I'm going to go and party and kalabaja jana, blah blah blah, and I'm going to get paid. And so when I left my job, it was a big thing for me to jack in a job. I was getting £85 a week, and I said, I'm going to go and do gigs now. And my mom and dad, like your mom and dad, be a doctor, be a vakil, solicitor banja. So the next door neighbours would be impressed. I'm like, who cares about the next door neighbours? Gwandi anda jada than fikir hai, mera bhi socho na. So they were always worrying about the Gwandi gala karoge, Bally Sagoo kalabach firda di raat nu. I'm like, because I'm working. Kalabach firda di raat nu, because I'm working. And that's my journey. But now it's like Bally Sagoo's my son now. Yeah. So it took time for me to prove to them. But yes, I've done it. I've, all the movie stars, all the parties. I do a lot of elite parties. I've worked with the best singers in Bollywood. I've worked with all the Shreyas, Udit Narayans, you name it. I've worked with all of them. And obviously Punjabi industry as well. But I think it's because I've paved the way. I've kind of like, I didn't just get it on a plate. I did my groundwork. When people say, oh, you're so lucky, every week you're flying around the world and partying, it's not easy to fly around the world and party, because people won't call you if you don't do something good. The reason why I do it, because I've been doing it all my life, and it's what I do for a living. And yes, it's my bread and butter, but I make music. My first job is to make music in a studio. I'm a musician, I'm a producer, stroke DJ.
Yeah.
A lot of DJs don't make music, they play music. I make music.
Wow, and I think UK is bended like Beckham's music.
Bended like Beckham, yeah.
Story was also inspired by you, it seems.
Yeah,
Here
Bedi
it
like
is.
Beckham is, I mean, we were just talking about that earlier on. Yeah,
Yes.
Bedi like Beckham. That was something. Grinda Chadda is a very close friend of mine. I stay at her house. She comes to my house, and when she made this movie, it was a groundbreaking British movie, and 9/11 happened that same day. We were doing the soundtrack, and we were doing all the music in the background, and we had to interrupt the dubbing because I said 9/11, the planes had just hit the World Trade Center, and that's why I'll always remember that time. And that film changed the whole Asian music film scene globally, and it launched Keira Knightley. It was such a groundbreaking moment, and yes, the music. I was responsible for so much of the background music, and Grinda Chadda is a big fan of mine. She always tells me your music is a cut above everyone else because I do from Sufi to lounge to like Cafe Del Mar, Buddha Bar. I did in 1990 album on my own record label. I launched my record label in 1990. It was called Ishq Records. And I thought, let me do a dub album, very sort of laid back. And I just got Udda de Gane Aa Rahe Hain. And I did that in 99, man. And, I like a lot of chill out stuff. My favorite songs are like Chura Liya, Aapki Nazaron Hai. I like the mellow stuff. But I know the hardcore fans, Aji Aaja Nachle, Botala Chala Diya, Gunnash, because they like that. But then I get the ones who say, we want the sexy, slow stuff. So what I try to do, and I think this is why my music has been successful. I've kind of touched everyone. Like if I talk to a lot of people, they can relate to a song of mine. I don't just do Bhangra, I don't just do Bollywood. I've made so much music. I mean, Dilcheez, all these songs were in Pakistan. When I went to Nusrat's house in Pakistan, he gave me the biggest party because to say thank you for what I had done for him. Because when we had done the album, it took me 6 months to put the album together. And when I played him the album in Oriental Star Agency's office, I was so nervous in case he says, Manu pasand nahi ho, tabla dholak nahi hega, there's no hand claps. Because I told him, I'm going to make something different. Mick Jagger, Madonna, and all these people came a fan of Nusrat through Magic Touch. It was the ZTV theme tune for like so many years. Kinna Sona Tenu Rab Ne Banaya.
Yes.
Half of the lyrics were written in the studio at the time. There was a book and we had to do it. So this album had so much story, so much moments behind it. I didn't realize that 30 years plus later, it's still today, Kinna Sona is like blasting. And then Bollywood stole my songs and they didn't credit us. And they took all these songs and they started putting in all these movies. And I had this major argument with T-Series. But yeah, these songs came out back in the days on our albums in the 90s. And when you hear them today, I did this story, go back to 91 and play this album.
Yeah, true. Feels like yesterday, doesn't it?
Yes.
Absolutely. So that's why you say if we love fusion of Desi music with the Western tune, we have one man to thank. So thank you so much, Bally Sagoo, for your glorious journey and
Bally, just say Bally.
Yeah.
Don't say Bally Sagoo. That's my full name. Just say Bally.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much, Bally,
Thank you.
for giving us those glorious years and
Anytime.
the time and the music to remember. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming today and Bally to gracing this event. By none other than Sahiba Bedi's Gliteratti
Thank you, Sahiba.
night
Thank you,
event.
Gliteratti.
And if we haven't got enough of him today, which is obvious, we're going to see him tomorrow at level 3 at Therapy in Crown after the match. So get ahead and get ready to party after the India-Pakistan match. So see you tomorrow. Possible. So firstly, Gliteratti night events. Thank you so much for bringing Bally Sagoo to Australia for the Grand Australia Tour. Our platinum sponsor, Sizzling Entertainment.
I said this, Melbourne's always been one of my favorites. I love this city. I love Melbourne. Singers, it was a struggle for them because you want a dry vocal. Inna reverb laya hunda, inna delay laya hunda in India they drown the vocals. We record differently in the West. My songs are mixed in a way that I enjoy mixing, and the way I work is I want a dry vocal, a clean vocal with no distortion, and I will put my effect on it. Your vocal has already got effects and distortion. How much headroom do I have to do what I want to do? So that's why it's very important to record it yourself. And in India they have a different way of working. Now the technology has changed the way they work, but coming from my background, I'm getting boring because it's technical talk.
No.
But the way the songs are made now, I mean, nowadays you can get the vocals now. We have the separation. Now, पुराने गाने की separation नहीं होती थी. 8 track दे होते थे. So the tracks are shared, even on the Bob Marley songs. You got the drums and the kick and the snare maybe on the same track. आज का सब कुछ separate है. Your vocal is coming here. His tumbi is coming here. You know, her vocal is here. Hand clap is here. Then you have the separation. Now I can take your voice and I can do what I want with it. You know, I put my own effect on there. I put my own delay and reverb on there. And then you get a nice mix. So yeah, I mean, getting back to what I was saying, today you can do so much now with the technology now. The DJs have got so much now. They can, you know, it's easy to do so much creative things now. But you can have the tools, but you still have to have the knowledge to do these things.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's not about having the same tools. If I give you a racing car or a cricket bat, are you going to be as good as these cricketers? If you have a Formula One racing car, are you going to be, you know, the same driver? So you still have to have the ear, the knowledge. Like people ask me, can you mix my song? And I get a lot of people saying that because I'm like, okay, fine, but I might have to completely strip it down because मेरे हिसाब दा mixing नहीं हुई है, vocal कितना ऊंचा है, vocal कितना नहीं हुआ है, strings are too high. India likes their strings really high. You know, everyone likes different levels. So my thing is to record it like the mainstream. I like the mainstream sound.